All right, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. Where I'm at right now, it's about 2:25 p.m. and it's Friday, December 27th, 2024. We're closing out this year strong, doing multiple live streams and also releasing a lot of content on this channel. So go check out the new movie reviews that I'm doing. Go to Backpack Bandits, the channel I share with my wife doing travel content, and continue to support your boy. Shout out to Andre Beha right here. He says Simon. And shout out to Andre Beha. Persian Detje. Anyway, yeah, let's just get to this live stream. Like always, I'll only be on for like an hour or so. And there were quite a few stories that I wanted to read this week during reading the news. But unfortunately, you know, on these live streams, I get so hot, I get so caught up in certain things, interacting with the chat, talking to y'all, that I don't have a chance to read the stories. So I'm gonna read a few of the stories that I didn't get a chance to cover and give my takes on them. And I also have like 2 new stories that I wanna read. Hopefully we can cover them at the end. So let's get to it. It's gonna be only an hour, so let's go. So we're gonna start with this first story here. As you know, I love movies on this channel. My wife and I are dropping multiple movie reviews, and we're gonna be doing our own Oscars type of celebration where we're gonna be giving out awards for, I don't know, person you wanted to slap the most on screen, worst villain, stupidest movie, stuff like that. Stuff that, you know, we're gonna come up with for our own personal Oscars. But let's talk about the real Oscars right here. Which films will be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars? You can expect the A, B, C, D, E movies, Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, and Emilia Perez, but what will join them? Interesting. So I saw Dune Part 2. I haven't seen Anora or any of these other films here, but I definitely want to. I got a suggestion from my guy Nelson Moreno to watch Conclave, but you know, I wasn't expecting these. I don't know if La Quimera is in the running. I don't know if Anatomy of a Fall is in the running. I don't know if so many other films are gonna be in the running for Best Picture. Some of the films that I thought would be there. I'm surprised Dune is in this list and in this section as well. But definitely I gotta catch up on my mainstream movie game. Me and Acty, we like to watch other stuff as well. And shout out to whoever is sending the hearts in the chat. I don't know if that's Andre Beha, I don't know who that is sending the hearts, but shout out to all of you as well. Anyway, this article was written by Kyle Buchanan, published on December 18th, 2024 for the New York Times. Oscar season kicked into high gear this month, transforming a race that once appeared to be wide open into something with a little more shape. What can be gleaned about this year's crop of Best Picture contenders now that we've gotten nominations from the Golden Globes and Independent Spirit Awards, wins from the Gotham Awards, and a variety of critics groups picking their favorites? Below, I'll project the films that I believe had the best shot at making the Oscars top category. First, a disclaimer. Few of the groups that have weighed in so far include actual Oscar voters, and many of the early honors are decided by small juries that are dwarfed by the Academy's huge voter roll, which numbers nearly 10,000 members. Still, these awards bodies and tastemaker groups shape perception and help to winnow the field. As busy Oscar voters begin their quest to catch up on all the contenders, the movies that have already been doing well are likeliest to receive the most sampling. I gotta say this though, I don't know if the Oscars has best comedy, but Book of Clarence has to be in there at least. To me, one of the best films this year. Also American Fiction as well. Black comedy has been killing it this year, at least with just those 2 films, and I'm sure there's more than I'm thinking of. But let's keep it real. There is no better film than Divorce in Black this year. Tyler Perry's Divorce in Black is hands down the best film that came out this year. But I'll continue. I'll begin with what I've been calling the A, B, C, D, E tier, the 5 strongest Best Picture bets that just happen to begin with the first 5 letters of the alphabet. So the first one up is Anora. Now, I didn't start hearing about this film until like a few days ago, honestly, and I don't know what's gonna happen in this story at all. I plan on watching it. I see that it's out there online, HD version, so I might check it out. But let's see. So this comedy about a sex worker's impulsive marriage to a wealthy Russian scion is off to a strong start. After winning the prestigious Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival in May, Anora opened in October to the year's best per screen average. Over the last few weeks, the film has won the Best Picture Award from the Los Angeles Film Critics Association and netted great nomination hauls from the Golden Globes and the Indie Spirits. The fact that both groups recognize the lesser-known supporting actor Yura Borisov is a sign of just just how well the film is playing. Still, here's the most important thing. Whenever I talk to voters and industry insiders about their favorite films of the year, Anora gets by far the most shout-outs. It's the passion pick and our current pack leader. So, you know, I would say this. If something wins the Palme d'Or at Cannes, most likely stylistically, the film is beautiful. Right? Like cinematography-wise and acting-wise, it's gonna be top-notch. Because all the films that I've seen that won the Palme d'Or had like scenes I've never seen before, acting that was incredible, and generally just a type of aesthetic. You know what I mean? But that does not make it a great story, I would say. You know what I mean? Because some films have amazing cinematography. Like, for example, my wife and I watched the documentary Sperm World, which is one of the most interesting looking films I've ever seen. But is it an amazing story? I guess. It's just about people donating their sperm on Facebook. Okay. Anyway, continuing here, let's go to The Brutalist. I didn't even hear about this film before, though I've seen this guy before. What's this guy's name? Adrien Brody in The Brutalist, an option for serious-minded voters. Okay, Adrien Brody. I've seen him in a couple of films before, though I can't remember the name. But if serious-minded voters fail to pick Anora, they've got a weighty alternative in The Brutalist. The drama about a mid-century Hungarian architect, Adrien Brody, who immigrates to America, has a whole lot of very important ideas on his mind, including anti-Semitism in the years following World War II, the compromises necessary when an artist creates work at grand scale, and the rapacious nature of American capitalism. Directed by Brady Corbett, The Brutalist won first place honors from the New York Film Critics Circle and the runner-up prize from their Los Angeles brethren, in addition to picking up 7 Golden Globe nominations. This 3.5-hour drama, 3.5 hours. Who got time for that? Who got time for 3.5 hours of movie, my guy? Anyway, 3.5-hour drama, including an intermission, won't be an easy box office sell as it begins to roll into theaters this week. But Oscar voters will be impressed by Corbett's ambition and the film's staggering scale. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing this film because, you know, I'm in Hungary right now. Hungary has a very interesting history as well. So I might check it out. Yeah, I might check it. Shout out to Andre Beja. He says, hey, Simon, when you do those premieres, are they some kind of lives or just pre-recorded videos about you and your wife talking about a movie? Those are videos that I upload. So yeah, those, I'm in the chat sometimes. So if you want to talk to me, I'll be in the chat when I upload a video and it's like just a premiere, but that's not live. That's pre-recorded. We do the movie reviews live on Fanbase. So you can follow me on Fanbase, Laji M. Reiki, and you can find that in the description of the videos and you can talk to us live there. But continuing here, let's go to part C. All right, Conclave. All right, before I read this, Andre Beja says, damn, who spends 3.5 hours of their sweet time? I mean, there are some movies that are like very long, like what is it? Goodfellas is hella long as well. You know what I mean? What is that other Martin Scorsese film? Killers of the Flower Moon was hella long as well. But they didn't need, well, Goodfellas needed to be. I mean, Goodfellas is a classic. Killers of the Flower Moon didn't need to be. All right? Anyway, so let's go to Conclave. This juicy potboiler about the plot to elect a new pope features almost as much back-channeling, bitter rivalries, and surprise twists as an actual Oscar season. Fitting, then, that it should be one of the safest Best Picture contenders. Everybody seems to like Conclave, which is handsomely filmed by the director Edward Berger, whose recent remake of All Quiet on the Western Front won 4 Oscars. I tried to watch All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix one. Hella boring. It just felt boring. Why do all these boring films win the Oscars? Why doesn't Book of Clarence win? All these boring-ass movies always win the Oscars. We need some fire up in that joint. Like Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black for Best Series. Tyler Perry's Ruthless. You get what I'm saying? Spike Calendog says Wath. I don't know what Wath means. You got to speak English if you come up in here, buddy. Anyway, everybody seems to like Conclave, which is handsomely filmed by the director Edward Berger, whose recent remake of All Quiet on the Western Front won 4 Oscars. But do they love it enough that Conclave can go the distance and actually win Best Picture? It'll take a few more rounds of secret votes before we know the answer to that one. All right. Andre Bejas says he loved that movie. I tried to watch it, man. Tell me what you loved about All Quiet on the Western Front, man. The Netflix version. I tried to watch it. I tried to sit through it. Couldn't do it. Anyway, let's go to a movie that was hella popular this year, Dune Part 2. Now, I love Star Wars. And I think I might like Star Trek if I started watching it. But my father loves Star Trek. And all the people that I admire like Star Trek. But I've never sat down and watched like a full season of any of the Star Trek spinoffs. You get what I'm saying? I can't get into Dune. Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me what's good about Dune. I don't understand it. I like sci-fi. I like futuristic, alternative dystopian universes. I like those type of films. I don't know what it is about Dune I just can't get into. And there's nothing like in particular about I don't know, maybe it's the idea of like a 1,000,000-year struggle with this thing over a drug and spice and giant dick worms that jump out of the sand. I don't understand Dune, man. I don't understand the appeal. Somebody explain to me. Anyway, let's read this part here. The first Dune won 6 Oscars. That's crazy. The first Dune won 6 Oscars? That's absolutely insane. If it wasn't just for like, I don't know, best CGI or best music, everything else is wrong. That's insane. We live in an upside down world. We live in an upside down world. Anyway, the first Dune won 6 Oscars, and since the sequel received even better reviews and box office returns, a Best Picture berth appears all but certain. Still, there may be limits on just how far the spice can flow. The filmmaker Denis Villeneuve was denied a Best Director nod for the first film, and his fresh up from the Golden Globes last week suggests that history could repeat itself. A better Best Picture campaign could have been mounted if the movie and press tour had not telegraphed that a third installment was in the works. If Part 2 instead appeared to end the series, voters would be more inclined to bestow rewards now instead of waiting to see how the whole thing turns out. Yeah, man, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal of Dune. And I'll just leave it at that. Let's go to the next film, Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez. I have no idea about this movie, but shout out to Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana, fire lady. She keeps getting fired. She looks like Sade. They need to make a movie about Sade and have Zoe Saldana play her. Anyway, does Jacques Audenard's unconventional Netflix musical have a shot at winning Best Picture? After taking major prizes at the European Film Awards, including Best Picture, Director, Actress, and Screenplay. Wow. Emilia Perez picked up 10 Golden Globe nominations, the second biggest haul any film has ever received there. Social media users Social media users may have blanched at the film's indelicate portrayal of transgender issues. Co-star Selena Gomez's Spanish has taken some online drubbing too. But those kinds of controversies rarely penetrate the Academy conclave. There is no Best Picture contender as bold as Emilia Perez, and that alone could propel the film to victory. In addition to the A, B, C, D, E tier, 3 movies appear to be good bets for Best Picture nomination. Now, I don't know anything about Emilia Perez, but I like musicals. I like musicals, guys. I watched The Waitress this year. That was fun. I want to see Joker Part 2. You know what I mean? I like musicals. Anyway, I don't know anything about this movie either. I know it looks like I watch a lot of movies with me and Acti, but we are so out of the loop when it comes to like what's happening in mainstream culture. So we got to catch up. We got to do some like crash course mainstream movies this year. Anyway, ABC and the Academy must be breathing a sigh of relief that Wicked has turned out so well. After the last Oscar telecast saw a ratings bump thanks to the populist blockbusters Oppenheimer and Barbie, this year's crop of initial contenders look positively puny in comparison. But Wicked has come on strong at the box office, far surpassing even Dune Part 2. With a domestic haul that could reach $500 million. And the film has proved just as popular with early voting groups, scoring key Golden Globe nominations, Best Film and Director trophies from the National Board of Review, and 11 nominations from the Critics' Choice Awards. Forget green and pink, Wicked has its eyes on gold. I have no idea what this story is about. Somebody fill me in. Andre Bejas, let me know, what the hell is Wicked about? Because I don't know what to say. I have no idea what to say about this film at all. Anyway, another movie right here, we have A Real Pain. A Real Pain. Who's in this film? Kieran Culkin left, and Jesse Eisenberg in A Real Pain, which made the American Film Institute's top 10 list. All right, I haven't heard from Jesse Eisenberg in a long time. Didn't he play like Zuckerberg in like The Social Network? Like, I feel like that's the last time I saw him in something. Anyway, Jesse Eisenberg's comedy about two American cousins on a Holocaust tour through Poland is an intimate, heartfelt comedy that could contend for screenplay and acting Oscars, which is the sort of package that usually pushes a film into the Best Picture race. Though it didn't receive Best Picture nominations from the Indie Spirits or Critics' Choice Awards, I'm still confident in his chances. Kieran Culkin is a front-runner with a supporting actor Oscar, and over the last 10 years, the winner in that category has always come from a film nominated for Best Picture. The inclusion of A Real Pain in the American Film Institute's 10 Best list further bolsters its case, since that lineup tends to best reflect the median Oscar voter sensibility. Okay, I might watch this. Sounds interesting, I guess. I don't know if it would exactly be my cup of tea, but I might be into it. Andre Beja says it's a really goofy movie. Okay, Andre Beja watching a lot of movies. Shout out to Andre Beja, man. Anyway, Colman Domingo has been on a tear this year. Colman Domingo is one of my favorite actors. I love Colman Domingo. And this is his film Sing Sing, which I didn't hear about, but shout out to Colman Domingo. So Colman Domingo left, and Clarence Macklin were winners at the Gothams for Sing Sing, an A24 film. Everything seemed to be going so well for Sing Sing. A24's well-reviewed summer drama about a prison arts rehabilitation program. Its leading man, Colman Domingo, and the supporting actor, Clarence Macklin, both won Gotham Awards this month, which was followed by a great nomination haul from the Indie Spirits, including a Best Film nod and a slot on the AFI Top 10 list. Then came a brutal rebuff from the Golden Globes, which nominated only Domingo. Though the Globes have diversified their voter rolls somewhat, they've always had a wonky track record when it comes to recognizing black-led films. This is the thing, man. The Oscars, Golden Globes, all these things, they hate on black-led films, man. That's why Book of Clarence, American Fiction aren't even being mentioned, man, when those were excellent films that came out this year. So it's hard to say whether this portends trouble ahead for Sing Sing, or if it's par for the course. Still, I think the movie's in a much better position than most contenders. So that's 8 of the eventual 10 Best Picture nominees that look to be safely scouted. Which movies are contending for those last 2 slots? By my count, there are about 9 titles that could make the outer reaches of the Best Picture lineup, and I'm ranking them in descending order according to their likelihood. All right. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna read about this article, man. I don't know any of these movies, and the other ones don't even have pictures, so it's not even worth getting into. But Andre Beja says, Simon, I really recommend the movie Fury. It's a World War II movie. I'll check that out. Shout out to that. Isn't that about some black soldiers fighting in World War II? I think it is. Chandra Beja says he was talking about Wicked, and he said Wicked was goofy. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. All right. Oh, Fury is not a black movie, of course. Okay. Anyway, speaking of blackness, let's go to our favorite nigga in charge. Let's go to our favorite nigga in the White House, Donald Trump. Trump disparaged Africa, so why are some Africans optimistic? In his first term, Donald Trump denigrated African nations, but leaders there are hopeful his return will bring more investment and less pressure to uphold democracy and human rights. Now, these African leaders definitely don't know what they're dealing with. They're dealing with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed bimbo, white supremacist, but generally across the world, people tend to associate Donald Trump with good business. People tend to associate Donald Trump with money. Both of those things are wrong. Both of those things are mischaracterizations of his personality and history as a leader. But whatever. Let's let people think what they think and then find out the hard way. They're going to fuck around and find out. Anyway, President-elect Donald J. Trump's impending return to the White House has raised hopes among some African leaders who expect it could lead to more investment, more trade deals, and less lecturing on issues like democracy and human rights. Who needs that? Black people don't need democracy. Black people don't need human rights. Ain't that right? So until now, Mr. Trump's most memorable pronouncements on Africa were to describe his countries with an expletive and to ban immigration from some of them. Nevertheless, interviews with over a dozen current and former African and American officials, along with security analysts and business experts, reveal that far from dreading Mr. Trump's return, many African leaders are keen to engage with him. I see a ray of light in his administration, said Hilda Suka Mafuzda, the African Union ambassador to the United States, at a recent event in Washington where African diplomats and experts questioned former officials from Mr. Trump's first term about what the incoming administration might bring. Experts say that Mr. Trump is expected to take a pragmatic and transactional approach to his dealings with Africa. Because of that, some African leaders now expect that his administration could bring their countries more profit from Africa's wealth of natural resources, more healthy competition from China and other African partners, and more jobs to help the world's fastest growing continent deal with the massive youth boom. Now, that don't make no damn sense at all. We're talking about Trump, the same guy who said we should invade Iraq and Syria to take the oil. The same guy who's flirting with the idea of invading Panama to take back the canal. That same guy who is talking about invading Middle Eastern countries to take the oil and is threatening to make Canada the 51st state and to take back the Panama Canal is somehow going to be helping Africa make more money from their own resources. Make it make sense. Yo, every time I talk to an African, they always say their leaders are the problem. They always say that the African leaders are the biggest problem. And now I understand why, because a lot of them are dumb as hell. Mr. Trump has yet to outline any vision for Africa. In his first term, he threatened to slash aid budgets to Africa, and many experts have warned that his administration will pose greater dangers to human rights, public health, humanitarian aid, and the fight against climate change on the continent. American influence in Africa has also slumped. A Gallup poll this year showed that China was the most popular power in Africa. The United States lost security access to parts of the jihadist-hit Sahel region amid a spate of coups. American embassies in Africa are understaffed. So some African leaders and analysts believe that a Trump administration could set a new direction. Trade, not just aid. Mr. Trump is likely to loosen restriction on the fossil fuel industry, creating opportunities for African oil and gas producers, said Zainab Usman, the director of the African program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in Washington, D.C. Although Africa is believed to be the continent most vulnerable to climate change, many African leaders want to exploit their resources since their carbon footprint is minuscule relative to industrialized nations. One way of increasing trade with Africa, many experts said, would be to renew and expand the African Growth and Opportunity Act, legislation that allows more than 30 African countries to export some products to the U.S. duty-free. The act, which was created hundreds of thousands of jobs, is set to expire next year. The African Union wants it renewed for at least 16 years, but it is unclear whether the act will be a priority for an administration that has made increasing tariffs central. So it's almost certain that Donald Trump will not renew the African Growth and Opportunity Act because he wants to grow American jobs. And even though cheap exports might be coming into America from Africa, there's no way he's going to say, yeah, let the Africans flood America with their goods and products and services and stuff like that. That don't make no damn sense. South Africa's automobile industry and Kenya's clothing manufacturers could be some of the biggest losers if the act were not renewed, said David Omojomolo, an African economist at the research firm Capital Economics. I didn't know they were making cars in South Africa. That's fire. I want a South African car. So delegates look at vehicles on display during the 20th African Growth and Opportunity Act AGOA Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa last year. I didn't know they were making cars in South Africa. I want a South African whip. Anyway, the African Export-Import Bank, a Pan-African financial institution in Cairo, has hired Abbey Group in Washington to help push for its renewal. The group's leader said her team was already speaking with top officials and insiders in Mr. Trump's orbit. It's such a shame that to get anything positive done in this world, you have to pay big money to hire lawyers in Washington, D.C. to fight on your behalf. Anyway, they are going to have a transactional, enterprise-driven approach that puts America first, said Rosa Whitaker, the former assistant U.S. Trade Representative for Africa for Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. But, she added, we can't put America first if we keep putting Africa last. Catching up with China. As Africa's economic ties with other nations, principally China, have grown, the importance of its business with the United States has shriveled. In 2000, over 20% of African exports went to the United States. In 2022, less than 5% did, according to the World Bank. From 2000 to 2020, Africa represented just 1% of U.S. foreign direct investment. These investments have shrunk by a third from 2014 to 2022, according to United Nations trade data. U.S. companies jump over Africa and invest directly in China and India. But our door is open, said Olusegun Ajadi Bakari, the foreign minister of Benin, one of Africa's leading cotton producers. Yo, I definitely got to go to Benin. I was watching a video last night about this woman who has a Michelin star restaurant in Benin. Looks fire. And the country itself is beautiful too. Small little French-speaking country, I believe, next to Nigeria. Anyway, countering China's influence in Africa, including competition for rare earth minerals, powering things like electric vehicles and wind turbines, will be central to the Trump administration's strategy, according to political and economic analysts. They also say that Mr. Trump is likely to keep the Lobito Corridor, a signature Biden railway project planned to stretch from the mineral-rich Democratic Republic of Congo to Angola's Atlantic coast through Zambia to secure supply chains. Now, this is generally, I would say, a good thing that there is infrastructure investment in Africa that the United States is leading. But overall, this is also a symptom of neocolonialism as well, because you know the U.S. will benefit from it more financially than the Africans. The Africans should be building this infrastructure themselves. It's absolutely a shame that this is not continuing to be done by the Africans when they have all the resources literally under their toes. Continuing here in the article, though. But the incoming administration will be playing catch-up. China is Africa's largest trading partner and a major financier of roads and ports. It is fast laying out the 5G network that will power Africa's digital future. American companies sometimes find it hard to compete against China in Africa and frequently cite reputational risk, particularly that of child labor in supply chains, and red tape to explain their reluctance to invest in Africa. African leaders have repeatedly said they want to do business with both China and America and not just pick one side. The world is a rainbow. It's not made of two colors, said President João Lourenço of Angola. Make deals, not war. What do secessionist movements in Cameroon, Nigeria, Somalia all have in common? They have rejoiced over Mr. Trump's election, anticipating he could champion their causes. Officials who previously served under Mr. Trump in Africa say he could recognize Somaliland, which declared independence from Somalia in 1991. In exchange, the United States might ask for an airfield and a seaport on the strategic route along the Gulf of Aden. There is a general belief that Somaliland will be better off under the Trump administration, said Bashir Goff, who leads the Somaliland mission to the United States. Several people who have met with Marco Rubio, Mr. Trump's pick for Secretary of State, said he had expressed a particular interest in Cameroon's Anglophone separatists, who began fighting to break away from their Francophone countrymen in 2016. Very interesting. Now, this is actually something I generally agree with, because I'm in support of people having the right to self-determination, right? So if Somaliland doesn't want to be a part of Somalia, and they've been running things themselves, and they have a different culture, a different sort of belief structure or way they want to organize their government, I'm generally in favor of that. And in the case of Cameroon as well, there are Anglophone separatists, people that want to speak English and not French, and they have a different culture and background as well. I'm generally in favor of that, if it can be done peacefully, right? Anyway, stop the lectures. Uganda and Ghana passed anti-gay laws. Gambia came close to legalizing female genital cutting after banning it. Soldiers in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger overthrew their elected governments. All these developments have been met with disapproving statements from the U.S. government, or as some Africans have it, a lecture, and some resulted in sanctions. That might now change. Tibor Nagy, who previously served as Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs under Mr. Trump, said he hoped the United States was going to drop the stupid megaphone, stop giving lectures, and back away from what I call cultural colonialism. Mr. Nagy said that religious persecution could be an exception, particularly of Christians in Nigeria. A strong U.S. lobby is pushing the narrative that Christians are targeted by terrorist groups and Muslim herdsmen for their faith, though Nigerian analysts say that is a gross distortion of the dynamics of several complex conflicts in what is Africa's most populous nation. Lectures on democratic norms may also take a backseat in Africa's Coup Belt in the Sahel region, a strip of countries south of the Sahara that are struggling with jihadist insurgencies and are controlled by military juntas. So, looking at this picture right here, the flags of the United States and Niger are displayed during a news conference marking the official withdrawal of the U.S. military from Niger in June. Now, One of the biggest tragedies that we are witnessing right now in Africa are the coup takeovers of countries where young men in pickup trucks with AK-47s who are nominally a part of the military overthrow democratically elected leaders and basically do the same thing that we've seen happen multiple times before in African countries. Strong men come in power, enrich themselves, and forget about the people. Sure, they might pay lip service to the idea of Pan-Africanism or cultural autonomy for Africans and all that sort of stuff, but it never actually turns out to better living conditions for Africans. And that is a bigger tragedy that Trump being in office might embolden these leaders to continue to act like strong men and dispossess their own people. Continuing here in the article. Several of those countries formerly had strong security partnerships with Western nations, but those relationships have soured. Instead, some have bought Turkish and Chinese drones or hired Wagner, the Russian mercenary force, to help fight terrorists. J. Peter Pham, Mr. Trump's former U.S. envoy to the Sahel, said that cutting off junta-led leaders or junta-led countries directly pushed them to turn to Russia. When the Biden administration denied a request from Mali's military president for an American transponder for an unplane, the leader complained to the Russian foreign minister and was promptly invited to Moscow, according to Mr. Pham. Soon after, 1,500 Wagner mercenaries arrived in Mali, and French troops and UN peacekeepers were rejected. By the way, I know it's pronounced Wagner. I just like saying Wagner. It's just funnier. Still, Mr. Pham said it's not too late to mend fences with the juntas. A major defeat for Wagner in Mali this summer presents the United States with a tremendous opportunity, he added. All right, and that's the end of the article right here. Overall, man, I just got to say, man, I just hope this nigga don't blow the whole world up. That's all I'm hoping. We're not hoping for World War III. And shout out to the African people, man. Putting your hopes in one white man over another in foreign nations, hoping that they'll be better for Africa or lead the way, is not the way to go. Anyway, let's jump into this article here, because in the comments section, I have a poll asking people which part of America has the best food, right? And I only got one vote right now, probably from Andrew Beja, and he says it's the West Coast. Now, the West Coast got a lot of like Mexican influence, so you got birria tacos, enchiladas, tamales, all that sort of stuff as well. I mean, I love Mexican food as well, but we got to get some more people voting before we can give that up. But anyway, I want to read this article right here that I thought was interesting. This might be the last article we read today because we're getting close to the 60-minute mark. But yeah, the most iconic sandwiches in every state. This was published by Suzanne S. Wiley on December 14th, 2024 for chowhound.com. And I came across this article while perusing the internet, and I just gotta say, some of the choices here, some of the sandwiches here look disgusting. Others look absolutely fire. America is a big, diverse country with a lot of different types of food, types of places and stuff like that. So let's just get into it, man. Let's get into it. They're gonna go down alphabetical order. So let's start. Alabama, barbecue chicken topped with white sauce. Take a look at this, man. Barbecue chicken topped with white sauce. Now this sandwich looks hella sad, mostly because of the bun. Like that looks like a store-bought bun. That is sad, man. And to serve a salad with greens, with collard greens, that's just country as hell. I was born in Alabama. I'm from Alabama. I've never heard of this sandwich before. Never heard of this sandwich. I give this sandwich a 6 out of 10. It's probably tasty because that chicken looks crispy, if it looks just like this picture. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know. So Alabama starts off the list with a barbecue chicken sandwich topped with white sauce. This is a mayonnaise-based sauce that's the hallmark of Alabama barbecue. And while food historians know when it was invented and who created it, they're not quite sure why. Former railroad worker Bob Gibson first mixed up the sauce in 1925, ostensibly to stop large numbers of cooked chickens from drying out after cooking. I'm pretty sure Bob Gibson was a black man who was thinking about that. Anyway, let's go to Alaska, second state, salmon sandwich. Okay, this looks fire. I give it a solid 8 out of 10, though I might switch that bun. This is the thing, you gotta butter that bun on the grill, you feel me? You gotta butter that bun. You can't be having dry buns. A sandwich gotta be juicy. So this salmon sandwich looks fire, all right? Alaska is known for its bountiful supply of fish, especially salmon. So it shouldn't be a surprise that the state's most iconic sandwich is a salmon sandwich. This is one of those creations that's rather open to interpretation, with the guidelines being only that you have some salmon on bread with basic sandwich toppings, some mayo, some lettuce. It's kind of up to you. Gotta put some hot sauce on it, some Tabasco. Now, on to Arizona. fried bread taco, Navajo taco. Now, this is not a sandwich, my guy. This is what at Taco Bell they called a taco salad. This is not a sandwich. And nobody told me that this is like an open sandwich. That is a lie. That is a lie. Somebody told you that there's an open sandwich. In Arizona, the iconic sandwich is the fried bread taco or Navajo taco. These have meat, cheese, and other fillings piled into a piece of fried bread, forming an open-faced sandwich. And yes, a 2024 ruling from Indiana legally places tacos among sandwiches. Shut the fuck up, Indiana. A taco is not a sandwich. A taco is not a sandwich. What the hell is this? A taco is not a sandwich. Stop it. Anyway, Sonoran hot dogs are a close runner-up, with bacon-wrapped dogs nestled in a soft roll with other fillings like tomatoes and beans. Hot dogs are sandwiches. No, hot dogs aren't sandwiches. Are hot dog sandwiches? I don't know how to feel about that. Anyway, going to Arkansas. Ugh, brother. Fried bologna sandwich. A fried bologna sandwich. This is so ghetto. This is ghetto as hell. A fried bologna sandwich, my guy. That's bachelor food, man. The fried bologna sandwich is the go-to dish in Arkansas. Fried bologna is nicknamed Arkansas round steak by some. Damn, Arkansas, how poor do you gotta be that bologna is called round steak? And the state is home to bologna maker Petite Jean Meats, which may be the reason the sandwich is so closely associated with the region. When frying, make a cut from the edge to the center so the slice keeps its shape. The toppings range from fried eggs to mustard and mayo to cheese. Now I gotta keep it real. I ate a lot of fried bologna when I was a kid. You put that bologna on the skillet, let it crisp up a bit, put some sugar on it too, some salt. That's actually fire. But this is for children. This should not be the go-to sandwich in the state. Anyway, I give this a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10, the Arkansas fried bologna sandwich. But on California, the French dip, yeah, that's a 9 out of 10. That's a 9 out of 10. Andre Beja says, that looks like a normal sandwich from a ghetto dumpster. Absolutely. But not this California French dip, though. This looked fire, man. 9 out of 10. So California's iconic sandwich is just the French dip. The sandwich consists of roast beef on a roll that's dipped in au jus, which is similar to the very thin gravy or broth. 2 Los Angeles restaurants claim to have invented the sandwich. Philippe's, now Philippe the Original. Philippe's, not Philippe the Original, is the more well-known of the two, but Kohl's has also claimed to be the first time to serve the now classic sandwich. All right, so Andrew Beja says, yeah, that's fire. Yep, the French dip is fire. Shout out to California. California knows how to eat. Anyway, let's go on to our next state, Colorado. Denver sandwich. Now, this is a fire breakfast sandwich. But this looks like something my wife would make if we're struggling to get by the end of the month. You get what I'm saying? She's chopping up eggs, chopping up whatever's left in the fridge, and just making it do what it do. So I give this like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10, right? This should not be your state's go-to sandwich. Anyway, the Denver sandwich is the ancestor of the Denver omelet. That mix of eggs, cheese, ham, bell peppers, and onions that's common on breakfast menus. Theories about its origins include attempts to cover up the flavor of stale eggs and the use of egg foo young as a sandwich filling. The Denver sandwich was extremely popular in the 1950s, but by the 1980s, the filling took center stage as a standalone omelet. All right, once again, 6.5 or 7 out of 10 for Colorado. Good breakfast sandwich before you go up in the mountains. Let's go to Connecticut. Fried clam roll. The fried clam roll is the go-to sandwich of Connecticut. I give this, because I'm not a clam person, I give this a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5 out of 10, man. Nah, man. I don't do clam like that. I mean, I love seafood coming from Louisiana, but I don't know how I would feel about that. Plus, that sandwich looked dry as hell. The cheese ain't melted, ain't no sauce on that thing, nothing like that, man. Anyway, Connecticut lays claim to the fried clam roll, which is a pile of fried clams on a roll with toppings ranging from tartar sauce to mayo. Okay, the picture don't have tartar sauce. Often brought from Clam Shack. The clam pieces can be strips or whole belly. Each has dedicated fans. You'll find claims that the hot buttered lobster roll is the state's iconic sandwich. You'll find claims that the hot butter rolled lobster is the state's iconic sandwich, but the clams get more attention on list of classic Connecticut foods. Anyway, let's go here to Delaware, the Bobby. Now, that's the type of sandwich I like to eat, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Just looking at the picture, I know that thing gonna get me full. I know that sandwich is gonna drip. It's gonna be juicy. Shit gonna fall out the side. You feel me? That to me is a good ass sandwich, and I give that 8.5. That's the type of shit I like. You feel me? So the Bobby is a post-Thanksgiving treat, albeit one sold year-round at Capriotti's, the sandwich shop that first put it on the menu. The sandwich is a copy of one that the aunt of the shop's owner would make with Thanksgiving leftovers. And yes, her nickname was Bobby. The sandwich has mayo, shredded roast turkey, cranberry sauce, and stuffed layer on a roll. So anyway, Avery says East Coast hands down. East Coast got a lot of claim because y'all got exotic foods. Like y'all eating like Dominican mofongo and shit like that. But down south, man, we got that cuisine that hits your soul. You feel me? Anyway, the Bobby, I give this, man, like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Something like that. Anyway, going to the next state. Florida, the Cubano. The Cubano sandwich. Now, I can say, as somebody who lived in Miami, I ate a lot of these, and they're just aight. They're just aight. They don't fill you up. It's too mustardy, man. I don't like mustard like that. I don't rock with mustard. Anyway, the Cuban sandwich or Cubano is a glorious combination of ham, roasted pork, salami, pickles, Swiss cheese, and mustard on Cuban bread. And the whole thing is compacted in a sandwich press that heats up the food and melts with the cheese. Both Tampa and Miami lay claim to the sandwich, but Cuba is the real origin point. I gotta say this, man. The Cubano, for me, gets like a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for the Cubano. It's all right, man. It's all right. Too mustardy. Anyway, Georgia, pimento cheese sandwich, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. This shit is disgusting, man. Growing up down south, I saw my mom and dad eat pimento cheese all the time. Always hated that thing, man. That thing is nasty. That thing is nasty. Pimento cheese is absolutely fucking gross, man. Looks like yeast infection, man. I don't rock with that. And the fact that people in Georgia eat that regularly shows that they should secede. They should just secede the union. Pimento cheese is a spread made with cheddar, mayonnaise, and diced red pimentos, which are sweet red Spanish peppers. The sandwich consists of the spread on white bread. The spread was first made in New York and was initially a processed food. Southern cooks started coming up with homemade versions, and now the official state sandwich is even served at the Masters Golf Tournament in Augusta. Yeah, man. Yeah, looks like throw up, said Andrew Beja. Yeah, so this gets a 1 out of 10 for me. 1 out of 10. Yeah, anyway, going here to Hawaii. Hawaii, the Kalua pork sandwich. This looks fire. This looks fire. This looks like kind of dry. Once again, I like my sandwiches wet and sloppy. All right, so I would give this a 7 out of 10. It looks like it tastes like pineapple and mango. Anyway, Kalua pig or Kalua pork is traditionally the meat from a whole pig that's been cooked in a pit over oven called an imu. Obviously, a lot of restaurants have to use a regular oven instead, but the pork still carries that name. Add some cabbage or another topping of your choice to the pork on a roll to make Hawaii's most iconic sandwich. Just don't add pineapple, for goodness sake. All right? Andrew Beja says, Subhanallah. Yes, Subhanallah. Anyway, go in here. Idaho, peanut butter and huckleberry jam. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. 2 out of motherfucking 10. A whole state, number one, a whole state cannot claim the butter and jelly sandwich. That is us as Americans. That unites us like Britney Spears Hit Me One More Time and racism. Like we are all united by peanut butter and jelly. A whole state, Idaho, cannot claim peanut butter and jelly. So no, get the fuck out of here. 2 out of 10. You get what I'm saying? And I love peanut butter and jelly. So Idaho's spin on the old PB&J makes it a true gem for the gem state. This version uses huckleberry jam and no other flavor. Huckleberries are related to blueberries and look a lot like them, but the flavor is more of a combination of blueberry and blackberry. All you have to do is make the sandwich is add your favorite peanut butter and some huckleberry jam to bread. You gotta use crunchy peanut butter. You gotta use crunchy peanut butter for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But claiming the entire peanut butter and jelly sandwich for your state, that's wild. 2 out of 10. Anyway, going to Illinois. Illinois, the Italian beef. This is a classic sandwich. This is a classic sandwich and you cannot go wrong. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's above par. Above par. So the Italian beef sandwich sounds a lot like a French dip at first. Roast beef on a roll with an au jus-like dip. But the Italian roll specifically uses Italian bread and tops the meat with giardiniera, a pickled vegetable relish usually made with peppers. The sandwich is truly Chicago's own, with its origins in the Little Italy neighborhood, most likely in the 1920s. All right, 8 out of 10 for that. Let's go to Indiana. Indiana, the fried pork tenderloin. Now, I don't like my sandwiches with small ass buns and the meat hanging out the side. That just looks retarded. You know, that looks absolutely insane. All right. So I'm giving this the picture. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, I would say. Andre Beja says, wait, Simon, do you eat pork? Yes, I do eat pork occasionally because I've fallen off my Dean, man. I need to get back on my Dean. But yeah, right now, living in Hungary, hard to go outside and not eat pork. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, Indiana is home to the fried pork tenderloin sandwich, an amazing creation that places a giant piece of fried pork on a hamburger bun with burger toppings like sliced tomatoes and onions. The size of the tenderloin is usually 2 or 3 times the diameter of the bun. Pictures of these things are fantastic. The fried pork is based on the German Wiener Schnitzel. All right, so Iowa, let's go to Iowa right here. The loose meat sandwich. Now, this looks like a sloppy Joe that is incomplete, or a sloppy Joe by somebody who's scared to get that shirt dirty. I give this a 6.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7. You get what I'm saying? Because I like sloppy Joes, man. Sloppy Joes were a part of my childhood. Loose meat sandwiches are like sloppy Joes without the sauce. The filling is loose ground beef with some seasoning, placed hamburger bun, along with toppings like ketchup and so on. The sandwiches are also known as Maid-Rites, taking that name from the chain best known for selling them. Although you may hear them called taverns or canteens after 2 other restaurants that serve the sandwiches. All right, so yeah, that gets a 6.5 or 7 out of 10, the Iowa loose meat. But look at Kansas, man. Oh, Kansas, the burnt ends, yes, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. You love barbecue. We rock with barbecue on this side. That looks fire. The Kansas burnt ends looks absolutely fire. We want that. We need that. Anyway, burnt ends are the thin ends of the barbecued brisket, which burns as the rest of the brisket cooks. When preparing to slice brisket, the cook will slice away those burnt ends first. The ends used to be simply something for the cook to nibble on, but customers soon wanted more of the burnt ends for themselves. You can now get burnt ends served on bread with barbecue sauce. Yeah, man, I throw a little bit of mustard and mayonnaise on that. Little bit of mustard and mayonnaise, not a lot, but that's a 9. That's a 9 out of 10. A barbecue sandwich, you cannot go wrong. Anyway, we have more tragedy, some open-faced sandwiches here. This is a toast. Can y'all stop calling toast sandwiches? This is the Kentucky Hot Brown right here. All right, so the Hot Brown is an open-faced sandwich that was created at Louisville's Brown Hotel in the 1920s. It's turkey, bacon, and tomatoes on Texas toast, covered with a cheese bechamel called Mornay sauce. It was supposedly introduced after dancers at the hotel wanted something novel to eat. The more likely origin is that it was simply hot food for cold nights. Yeah, I give this, because it has things that are good on it, I give this like a 7 out of 10. The crazy thing is just the bechamel sauce to me. Like putting lasagna cheese on a toast and calling it a sandwich is just crazy. So 7 out of 10, I might enjoy it. Anyway, going here now. Now, I am pissed off at this. Louisiana, the muffaletta, 4 out of 10. 4 out of fucking 10. And I'm gonna tell you why. The muffaletta is more of a New Orleans thing than it is an all of Louisiana thing. We don't be eating the muffaletta in Monroe. We don't be eating the muffaletta in Shreveport. This is not our thing. This is like a small subset of people in New Orleans. They be eating this thing. And I've had a muffaletta too. And I'll say this. It's all right. It's overrated. It's a cold sandwich. Number one, I'm not a fan of cold sandwiches like that. You can heat up your muffaletta, of course, but say the po' boy is the Louisiana sandwich. And I'm so pissed that the po' boy is not number 1 for Louisiana, because the muffaletta is not the thing. Anyway, man, 4 out of 10 for the muffaletta. Anyway, the muffaletta was created by Sicilian immigrants to New Orleans, and the name actually refers to the type of bread used. This is a huge sandwich, often big enough to be sliced into 4 portions. The filling is made up of mortadella, Genoa salami, ham, Swiss cheese, provolone, and olive salad. The spelling of the name is up for debate, as is whether or not the sandwich should be heated before serving. Definitely heat that thing up, man. Anyway, let's go to Maine, the lobster roll. Going to Maine, the lobster roll. I give this a, you know what? I think I would genuinely like this. This looks juicy. I love lobster. 8 out of 10. Maine lobster roll, 8 out of 10. Okay? Maybe 8.5 as well. This looks very good. All right, so let's go to what they say about it right here. Maine's iconic sandwich is the lobster roll. This roll, filled with chunks of lobster coated with mayo-based dressing, wasn't always fancy. Lobster used to be so common in the region that it was considered a cheap food. But as lobster stocks dwindled, the national interest in lobster rolls grew. It gained a reputation as something special and expensive. All right, let's go to Maryland. Maryland, the crab cake sandwich. Now, Avery says, we coming up on Maryland. I think you expected this. I think you knew that this would happen, that the crab cake sandwich would be there because Maryland is famous for their crab. But let me know, do people really be eating this? Because this list got it wrong with my state. Is the Maryland crab cake sandwich really popping out there in Baltimore? Is it really popping in Annapolis? Is it popping in DC? You get me? Let me know, is the crab cake sandwich really for the people? Or is this something that the tourists eat? Anyway, a Maryland-style crab cake is made of lump crab meat, not soft-shell crab, held together in a loose patty with egg and mayo. Season it with flavors like Old Bay and place that patty on a bun with tomato slices and other toppings, and you have the iconic crab cake sandwich. The sandwich is so popular in Maryland that McDonald's even released a limited version of it back in 1992. So, Avery says that the crab cake for sure, first, yes, it's in every restaurant that has seafood. Okay. So I'm gonna give the crab cake sandwich. I like lobster more than crab. I could go my whole life without eating crab and I'll be cool. I'll give this a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. I might try it 1 or 2 times, but it's not gonna be like my go-to sandwich. I would never make this my go-to sandwich because I'm not a fan of crab like that. So Avery says, it's for people for sure, but most people here just eat crabs as they are. I think that would be better. You know what? Dipping crab in butter, you dipping crab in some butter or garlic sauce or whatever, that's probably fire. And I've done that before too. But just eating a crab cake sandwich, to me, it wouldn't have that consistency for me. So crab cake sandwich, I give it 6.5 or 7 out of 10. Continuing on, going to Massachusetts, the Fluffernutter. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. What the fuck is this? This is for kids. What the fuck is this? This should not be the go-to sandwich for grown-ass men in Massachusetts working a union job. How you working a union job and you come home and your wife makes you a fluffernutter, my guy? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, my guy? Fluffernutter, 2 out of 10. Massachusetts Fluffernutter sandwich, in which peanut butter and marshmallow fluff meet between 2 pieces of white bread, is a staple across the state. It started as a wartime food. One of the original inventors of marshmallow cream, Emma Curtis, created a Liberty sandwich during World War I that consisted of cream, peanut butter, and oats or barley bread. The sandwich made a comeback in the 1960s under its new name. Andre Beja says, it looks like literal cum. It looks like anal sex. This is bad. This is bad. Fluffernutter, 2 out of 10. This is for children. You should not be working a union job eating flufferners. Anyway, Detroit, Michigan, Michigan, Detroit ham sandwich. 1 out of 10. What the fuck is this, man? I'd rather eat Eminem's mom's spaghetti. This is why Eminem was always angry in his raps. This is why God hates Michigan so much he covers it in snow. This is insane. Andre Beja says bye, peace. Anyway, Michigan Detroit sandwich, absolutely tragedy. 1 out of 10. The humble ham sandwich gets a boost in Michigan, especially in Detroit. The sandwiches there have a cuts of glazed ham with lettuce, tomato, Swiss cheese, and mustard on an onion roll. These gained fame during the 1960s in the sandwich shops that sat near the Dearborn Sausage Company. Certain shops, such as Lyle's Sandwich and Mike's Famous Ham Place, are known specifically for the Detroit ham sandwiches. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Ain't nothing in it. Just a bad, sad, absolutely sad. Anyway, go in here. Minnesota, Juicy Lucy. Nigga, I'ma come. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. That shit is going to melt in your mouth, my guy. That is fire. 9 out of 10. Minnesota, the Juicy Lucy, 9 out of 10. Depending on who you talk to, the Juicy Lucy was created at Minneapolis's 5-8 Club, or the Juicy Lucy was created at Matt's Bar, also in Minneapolis. No matter who created it, this cheesy burger is an iconic Minnesota sandwich. Cheddar cheese is stuffed between 2 thin burgers patties that are pinched together. You're advised to let the very hot cheese cool a little before taking a bite. That looks like it will burn your tongue, and it's absolutely worth it. Minnesota Juicy Lucy, 9 out of 10. Fire, fire, fire. Continuing on. I'm so pissed. I am fucking pissed. Mississippi gets the shrimp po' boy. I love po' boys. I love chicken po' boys, shrimp po' boys, beef po' boys. Any type of po' boy is fire to me, coming from Louisiana. The po' boy is a 10 out of 10. But because they gave it to Mississippi, I give this a 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. This is absolutely wrong. Wrong. This is like saying barbecue belongs to New Mexico and giving Texas like tacos. Stop playing. Stop playing. What are they doing? This is offensive. Literally offensive. I'm hurt to my soul. Mississippi shrimp po' boy. These long loaves of bread filled with fried shrimp supposedly began as an economical way to make meals for striking streetcar employees in 1929 New Orleans. The bread was created specifically for the poor boy sandwiches. There are competing theories about the sandwich's true origins. Regardless, the name was eventually shortened to po' boy. While often associated with Louisiana, the shrimp po' boy is also one of Mississippi's favorite sandwiches. Stop it. Stop it. Stop the madness. Give us back our shit. Let Mississippi have obesity and anti-abortion laws and give us back our goddamn po' boy. Stop playing with me. Anyway, let's go to Missouri, the hot salami. This is a basic, classic-ass sandwich, 7 out of 10. That's all I got to say about it. That's a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Can't go wrong with that. All right, a simple sandwich of sliced grilled salami on a French roll with cheese and onions wins a spot on this list as Missouri's top sandwich. Gioa's is the restaurant best known for making these James Beard awarding sandwiches. Note the homemade version of the sandwich may or not contain any cheese. The toppings are mainly up to you. Going to Montana. Sad, absolutely sad. 1 out of 10. Pork chop sandwich. This looks like it came from McDonald's. That's a McGriddle. That's a McGriddle, man. That's a $2 McGriddle. Another pork chop sandwich hits the list, this time in Montana. However, this isn't like Indiana's breaded and fried tenderloin at that. This pork chop is battered and deep fried and fits a hamburger bun very neatly. Pile on burger toppings like lettuce, pickles, and tomatoes and get 2 pork chop patties if you want. Pork Chop John's is the chain credited with creating the sandwich. Avery Adams says, I low-key want to try all of these. Some of these look fire, but no. Now let's go to Nebraska right here. The Reuben fire sandwich. Reuben is a fire sandwich. I'm not big pastrami like that, but the Reuben is a fire sandwich in general because I love toasted buns. Them toasted Texas buns, baby. Them toasted Texas buns, baby. Man, they hit. They hit. So this gets an 8.5 out of 10. Reuben, 8.5 out of 10. The Reuben, that neatly pressed pile of hot corned beef. Oh, it's corned beef. Is it corned beef or is it pastrami? Either way, fire. Anyway, that pressed pile of hot corned beef with Russian dressing, Swiss, and sauerkraut on rye bread has 2 potential origins. One story says Nebraska Reuben Kolakovsky created the sandwich during a late-night poker game. Charles Schimmel, another player who also ran a hotel, put the Reuben on the menu at his establishment. Printed evidence backs up the story, whereas the other origin story from New York is based on family memories. All right, so the Reuben gets an 8.5. Going to Nevada, the Patty Melt. Patty Melts, fire. Toasted bun, juicy, fries, cheese. Can't go wrong. You dip that thing in some ketchup, man, fire. 8.5 out of 10. Patty Melts are fire, fire, fire. Anyway, continuing on. So there's some controversy over who invented the Patty Melt, which is so popular at diners and lunch counters. Tiny Nailers in California claims to be the birthplace of the Patty Melt. But no matter, the sandwich has become a Nevada favorite, especially in Las Vegas. The basic version contains a burger patty, cheese, and toasted sandwich bread. However, you can also get grilled bread along with toppings like onions on rye bread. Okay. All right, on to New Hampshire, the Monte Cristo. This is a bad bitch of sandwiches. These are the big booty pogs of sandwiches. These are the big booty Asians of sandwiches. These are top tier. These are top tier sandwiches. Monte Cristo, you cannot go. 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Come on now. What's fucking with that? What's fucking with that? Nothing, man. That is a fire sandwich. Come on, man. New Hampshire is a difficult state to pin down when it comes to favorite sandwiches. Oddly, it's the Monte Cristo that tends to appear on best of lists with that more than Fluffernutters and roast beef, 2 other common sandwiches. The Monte Cristo gained fame in California, particularly after Disneyland put it on its restaurant menus. New Hampshire's take tends to show up more in home cooking with thick breads and maple syrup. It's got maple syrup on it, my guy. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, my guy. 10 out of 10. That maple syrup hitting with that meat and that, oh, come on now. 10 out of 10. Monte Cristo, best sandwich out there. Anyway, on to New Jersey. New Jersey, Taylor ham, pork roll, egg, and cheese. All right, this is a breakfast sandwich. Too much bread. Too much bread in this picture, man. This sandwich don't look juicy. It looks bready. I give it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. So Taylor ham in North Jersey. South Jersey calls it Taylor pork roll. Egg and cheese on a hard roll is a classic order in restaurants around the state. It's so iconic that a state assemblyman attempted to designate as the state's official sandwich. He was so determined that he filed 2 bills, each one for each variation of the name. However, the bills died in committee. Yeah, y'all got better things to do in government than make an official sandwich. On to New Mexico. Green chili cheeseburger. Fire, 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 fire. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Just for this picture, because that meat don't look big enough. If the bun's bigger than the meat, that ain't it. But 8 out of 10 in general. I give that. Anyway, so New Mexico is very well known for its wonderful green chilies, be they Hatch or another variety. Someone, it's not known exactly who, placed diced green chilies on a cheeseburger, and the rest is delicious history. The cheeseburger is so popular in the state that the New Mexico Tourism Department has a page dedicated to the New Mexico Green Chili Cheeseburger Trail. Okay, that's doing too much. That's doing too much. Anyway, going to New York, pastrami on rye. Pastrami on rye. Now, this looks like a white supremacist mom's pussy, you feel me? But I don't know, this picture doesn't make it look appetizing. I fuck with pastrami, but this is way too much. That's way, way too much meat, you feel me? Pause, no diddy. Rye is beyond iconic. It's New York's top sandwich, and the name alone is enough to bring to mind old school delicatessens in New York City, where plates piled high with slices of pastrami, pickled spears, and chips were a common sight. The sandwich usually consists of several slices of pastrami topped with mustard on rye bread, although some non-kosher variations include cheese. Okay, I give this a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 for the pastrami on rye. North Carolina. North Carolina, throw your hands up. That pulled pork sandwich, man. That pulled pork sandwich, baby. That is a 9.5 out of 10. That looks fire, juicy, absolutely fire. Pulled pork sandwich, 9 out of 10. So, pulled pork is the meat of choice for sandwiches in both North and South Carolina. But in North Carolina, the pork is served with a spicy vinegar-based barbecue sauce. And the spice is no joke. Recipes for the sauce often include cayenne, hot sauce, and/or crushed or red peppers. Serve it on a soft bun, maybe with coleslaw for a real treat. This is fire. This is fire. 9.5 out of 10, man. Anyway, North Dakota, the Sloppy Joe or the Slush Burger. Like I said, I rock with Sloppy Joes. This Sloppy Joe, 7.5 out of 10. 7.5. I have not had a Sloppy Joe in years. I like my Sloppy Joes with cheese, too. So 7.5 out of 10. Sloppy Joes are loose meat sandwiches with a tomato-based sauce. Most people point to Iowa as the Sloppy Joe's birthplace. However, there's also a bar in Key West, Florida named Sloppy Joe's that claims the sandwich was invented in Cuba. Origins aside, North Dakota has claimed the Sloppy Joe as its favorite sandwich. In part of the state, it's known by the more physically descriptive name of Slush Burger. Okay, so yeah, Sloppy Joe, 7.5 out of 10. Going to Ohio. Ohio, the Polish boy right here. All right, Ohio. The origin of Cleveland's Polish boy sandwich doesn't have much documentation, but the name apparently used to be a way to refer to a kielbasa sausage in a bun. But back in the 1940s, a restaurant owner named Virgil Whitmore piled some fries, coleslaw, and barbecue sauce into a kielbasa-like sausage on a bun, creating a combination that would eventually adopt the Polish boy name. Now, I like a good hot dog. I don't know if this is a sandwich per se. I've never seen fries on top of a hot dog. I give this 6.5 out of 10. It's probably very good. It's just, I don't know about that bun, and I don't know how I'm going to eat that with fries falling all over the place. 6.5 out of 10. All right, Oklahoma chicken fried steak. Chicken fried steak sandwich. You can't go wrong with chicken fried steak, man. 7.5, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Chicken fried steak for Oklahoma, 8 out of 10. All right, both Oklahoma and Texas claim to be the origin home of chicken fried steak, but the steak and the sandwich you can form it are by far the favorites in Oklahoma. Tenderized round steak or cube steak is battered and pan fried to form a crunchy patty, and if you want the sandwich version, the fried patty is placed on a bun with mayo and vegetable toppings. Okay, so yeah, chicken fried steak, 8 out of 10. You can't go wrong with that, baby. Can't go wrong with that. By the way, I'm interested to see what the poll says about which place has the best food. East Coast, Okay, so we only got 2 votes, and it's tied. East Coast between West Coast. I'm surprised the Dirty South is getting hated on, man. Surprised. I thought the South would get more love. Anyway, going here, Oregon. The fried chicken biscuit. I like gravy. I like chicken. I like biscuits. 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. I would eat this, though you eat this with a fork and a knife. I know you do. Oregon, I did not expect this. I like that. I like that. I like that. So you wouldn't expect a Southern dish to be an iconic representative of a Northwestern state. But in Oregon, the fried chicken biscuit is the sandwich of choice. Portland is home to Pine State Biscuits, a chain that's best known for producing the Reggie, which has fried chicken, bacon, cheese, and gravy tucked between 2 biscuits. That sounds fire as well. So yeah, fried chicken biscuit with gravy, my guy. Yeah, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Can't go wrong with that. So Pennsylvania, of course this was going to happen. The cheesesteak. Pennsylvania, cheesesteak. Can't go wrong with a cheesesteak. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for the cheesesteak. 9 out of 10 for the cheesesteak, man. The cheesesteak, or more commonly the Philly cheesesteak, is Pennsylvania's most iconic sandwich by a mile. Created around 1930 by Pat and Harry Oliveri, this mound of beef in a roll started as an improved lunch one day when Pat got tired of the hot dogs he'd been selling. Pat's recipe was a different take on an older beefsteak sandwich recipe. It wasn't until the 1940s that someone added cheese. Okay, yeah. Cheesesteak, 9 out of 10. Can't go wrong with a cheesesteak, man. I need to go to Philly one day and eat a real cheesesteak. So, Rhode Island, Italian grinder, that we might need to change that name to Luigi Mangione. Anyway, so yeah, this is a basic-ass sandwich. This looks like what they advertise at Subway. So this gets a 6 out of 10. I'm sure it's very good, but it's just too basic. It's too basic. So Rhode Island hot wieners may get a lot of attention for their special take on the hot dog, but the state's truly iconic sandwich is a good old Italian grinder. This is a submarine-style sandwich. Grinder is just what Rhode Islanders call subs, with a combination of deli meats like salami and mortadella, plus provolone cheese, tomatoes, peppers, olive oil, and more. All right, basic ass sandwich gets 6 out of 10. Italian grinder for Rhode Island, 6 out of 10. Continuing on here, South Carolina, pulled pork with gold sauce. Now, I don't know what the hell gold sauce is, and South Carolina looks like they make dry-ass barbecue. Barbecue should not be that dry. Your barbecue should be wet. It should be saucy. It should not be this dry, man. Nah, man, that looks like boiled meat. That just looks like you left the meat in hot water and just let it separate. Nah, man. Anyway, pulled pork with gold sauce, I don't know, man. You already know that the Carolinas have pulled pork as their favorite sandwich filling, but now it's time for a look at how South Carolina prepares these sandwiches. Instead of that spicy tomato and vinegar sauce, here you'll get pork covered with gold sauce, which is mustard-based. The sauce still contains vinegar, but it doesn't have the ketchup or spice. Yeah, no, 4 out of 10. I love barbecue. But 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 for that. Absolutely, no. Just dry. Brother. South Dakota, the pheasant sandwich. Absolutely horrible, man. No, absolutely horrible. That's way too damn much mayonnaise, okay? Anyway, the pheasant sandwich, the pheasant sandwiches of Aberdeen, South Dakota are legendary not only for their flavor, but for their history. During World War II, the town of Aberdeen found out that trains carrying troops were going to pass through, and those troops would need food from a local canteen. After receiving pheasants, canteen workers made pheasant salad sandwiches. These became so famous among the troops that the canteen was nicknamed Pheasant Canteen. Yeah, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Absolutely, no, we're not eating pheasant. We're not putting all that mayonnaise on it. We're not putting it on white bread, not in it. No, man, just no. 1 out of 10. Brother. Tennessee, hot chicken sandwich and the Elvis sandwich. Okay, Tennessee can't be the only state to get a tie. Tennessee can't be the only state to get 2. I sense bias. Here. Okay, so the Tennessee hot chicken sandwich and the Elvis sandwich. Tennessee's got a tie. There's a Nashville hot chicken sandwich with varying levels of spice added to the chicken's crunchy fried coating. But the Elvis sandwich, or Fool's Gold Loaf, is another sandwich that shows up just as often on lists of famous Tennessee sandwiches, despite being a Colorado creation. This is a multi-serving sandwich with peanut butter jelly and a lot of bacon on sourdough. Why didn't they show the Elvis sandwich with peanut butter jelly, bananas, and... Now, you got to just take one. You got to pick one. Now, that hot chicken sandwich, fire. Hot chicken sandwich, fire. 9 out of 10. But the Elvis sandwich, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Anyway, let's go to Texas. Come on now. Can't go wrong with this, man. 9.5 out of 10. A brisket sandwich, my guy. Brisket, look how juicy that thing is. Brisket sandwich, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. So low temperatures, long cooking times, and indirect heat from smoking turns tough brisket into tender barbecue. And once you slap some sliced brisket between two slices of bread, you have a Texas favorite sandwich. Depending on the restaurant you're at, you may have a choice of toppings, but the meat plus the bread and maybe a slice of jalapeno is really all that's required to make this sandwich. Yep, we need this in our life, man. The Texas brisket sandwich, yep, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. How many more states do we have left? We're almost done. We're almost done. I might fly through these last ones, man. I might fly through these last ones. Where were we? We got Utah. Let's pull up on Utah. Utah, pastrami burger. A pastrami burger, I might give this 7 out of 10. I think I would enjoy it. It might just be something interesting to eat one time when I pass through Utah for whatever reason I'm there. Pastrami burger, I give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 pastrami burger. The pastrami burger is a California invention, but when its creator moved to Utah, the burger quickly caught on with the locals. Some say it was his family members who moved, but no matter, go to Utah and order this combination of a cheeseburger with strips of pastrami added to the top as if they were additional toppings, and thank your lucky culinary stars for this mouth-watering experience. Yeah, I would enjoy that. I would definitely enjoy that. 8 out of 10. Sounds fire. Sounds fire. Continuing here, Vermont, the Vermonter. No, this is why Bernie Sanders hates the billionaires. This is why he hates the billionaires, because he had to grow up eating this. Absolutely, the Vermonter. No. This gets a 3 out of 10. This is my first 3 out of 10 here, because it's basic as hell, but it's like subpar basic. Okay, the Vermonter. The Vermonter is a sandwich filled with deli meat, apple slices, and cheese. I take back my 3. 0 out of 10. Apple slices and cheese. Apple slices and cheese automatically makes me not care anymore. Okay. Oh, no, I'm skipping past that. I can't get, no, apples and cheese. No. Virginia, county ham sandwich. All right, this is basic as hell. This looks like what Thomas Jefferson ate. This looks like what George Washington ate while he was like stomping on the British. This is basic as hell, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Once again, not a hot sandwich. Not a hot sandwich. So Virginia is home to country ham, so having the country ham sandwich as a favorite dish in the state is not a big surprise. The sandwich uses specifically Virginia or Virginia-style country ham on a bun, and you can add toppings from mustard and mayo to cheese and herbs. Basic-ass sandwich, 5 out of 10. Going to Washington now, the banh mi. The banh mi, this looks absolutely fire, 9 out of 10. Absolutely fired. 9 out of 10. Washington, the banh mi. Yes, indeed, family. So the banh mi is a Vietnamese French sandwich with meat, pate, pickled carrots, daikon, and more, stuffed into a crispy baguette-style bread. This is an affordable sandwich that's filling and packed with different flavors. And Seattle's large Vietnamese community has helped make this the top sandwich in the state of Washington. The best part of banh mi, in addition to the taste, is how customizable it is. Yeah, there's a Vietnamese restaurant down the street from me. I'm going to go there with a baguette and ask them to make me a mi. I'm going to ask them to make me a banh mi. Continuing here. West Virginia is an embarrassment to the nation. This is a McGriddle. This is something you order at McDonald's at 5 a.m. before you drive off to your coal mine job, man. What the hell is this? 2 out of 10. Because this is a classic sandwich, but this can't be your classic sandwich for the state. Peanut butter jelly sandwich for Idaho. So yeah, 2 out of 10 for that. Let's go to Wisconsin right here. It's a tie between the bratwurst sandwich and the grilled cheese. Okay, bratwurst hot dog, I guess. This gets a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Can't go wrong with a good hot dog. And the grilled cheese, you can't claim the grilled cheese as your entire state because that belongs to us as Americans. And going to Wyoming, the trout sandwich. This gets a 5 out of 10. Not a big fan of trout. Picture looks crazy. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Is that bread? Is that the fish? Is it open? Is it closed? What the hell is happening? 5 out of 10. And that's all of the sandwiches for all 50 states. And yeah, that's been the live stream for today. I still didn't even get a chance to get to all the stories I wanted to get to, but let me give a shout out to everybody who jumped in. Shout out to Avery Adams, shout out to Andre Beha, and shout out to, who else was here? Spike Callendock. And yeah, that's it. Y'all be easy out there. Hope y'all have a good day. And